Why I don't use C Sharp anymore. Back to my early programming days, I was a kid who just finished a Python course and I was ready to go to the next level, which was Object-Oriented Programming or OOP. At the time, the creator of the course was still working on the OOP part, so I went and searched it up on YouTube to see how it's done, and it was bad. Like, not good. I was confused as hell with things like self, constructors, and the style of syntax that this guy was going for. It didn't even seem like Python at all, so I dropped it. A few weeks later, I started trying out languages, for the sake of curiosity, and I saw C Sharp. I've heard of it many times, and on my research, I found out that it was a OOP based language, so I decided to try it out. I went to the Microsoft course page, installed Visual Studio, and started reading every single bit. And for my surprise, this language clicked with me. I don't know why, but the syntax of C Sharp was just so elegant and everything made so much more sense. And even for a Python kid, I didn't mind much the extra syntax because it was just so cool to write in it. And so I wanted to get deeper, so I searched for a YouTube course to know all about C Sharp and I locked in. At the time, I didn't know, but I was about to have so much fun with it. I was relearning how to code in C Sharp, learning how to code command line applications, learning about OOP, learning how to make UI applications, and man, I was having fun. At this point, it's been a while since I was coding in C Sharp and I thought I will never switch. And I really didn't have a reason to. I was learning so much about programming and some of my breakthrough moments were with it. At the science fair, I made a command line application using SQL, my first API, my first Docker container, also my first time burning out, and the first deployment, which was my second burnout and the one I suffered the most. I was doing great, but everything was about to change. In the meantime, I was also switching operating systems. I went from Windows to Ubuntu to Fedora to Arch to NixOS. And specifically NixOS, it was the start of the downfall. You see, NixOS has a problem. It's not fucking daily drivable. NixOS was the hobby, not the development, not the games, nothing. It was like raising a child on your own. It's just that this child is declarative and a complete reflex of your skill issues. And just for reference, I fucked up NixOS more than 5 times in the span of 4 months. Even one of the times was at school, for fuck's sake. But what does any of it have to do with C Sharp? Well, since Linux doesn't have Visual Studio and VS Code, for some reason, was crashing a lot in Linux and also consuming a lot of RAM, I was using Neovim and Helix. Mainly Neovim because it supported most plugins. So one day, I decided to sit and configure C Sharp LSP. This task single-handedly changed the course of my programming career, and I can't prepare you to what comes next. I was having a hard time configuring the LSP because the package were having issues of version mismatch, and I had projects with other versions so I couldn't just delete it. Luckily for NixOS, it allowed to download different package versions and still coexist in the same system. And I could use .NET settings to define the main version and just specify the versions of the current package in the project settings. Cool. Though, this wouldn't make the LSP work totally. Helix was a maybe, but Neovim wasn't working. So I decided to install the LSP outside of Neovim and just update the Neovim settings to use the outside LSP. While installing it, I noticed that something was going wrong during the installation process. Apparently, the tool was having problems installing a .NET package due to version mismatch, and so I decided to force stop the process. and then I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do it anymore. I was shocked. Like, did I just fuck up the Nix setup? And when I tried to rerun the command, I saw sudo is not a command. I can tell you how fast my heart dropped to my butt in that moment. Somehow, in some way, I managed to delete the Nix commands and sudo. I couldn't roll back because I needed sudo to do it. Man, it was supposed to be a simple task. It ruined my day, my system, everything. At that point, I didn't even want to look at NixOS anymore, and I wanted to go back to Arch as soon as possible. But NixOS was there, like an abusive boyfriend, saying sorry for the third time this month for hitting in the face. But I couldn't do it. I went back to Arch, set up my system, and when it came to setting up C Sharp, I was hesitant. I went through a lot, and while C Sharp wasn't the main problem, there was still some things that were causing second thoughts, like the lack of support on tools for Linux, versioning confusion, the fact that you need internet to make a fucking project. That's right, I'm talking about Nugget, and some others. While Zig just worked. Look, I don't wanna be here DRing Zig, but there's a reason why I like it so much. It just works. Anywhere, everywhere. It was the same thing. LSP, compiler, anything. No bloat either. So it came a moment where I logged in with Zig and slowly stopped using C Sharp. First, I stopped working on tools with it, then APIs, then left web development for good, and switched to systems programming, and here I am. It's been 1 year since, and if I'm being honest, maybe the reason why I switched from C Sharp to Zig wasn't even the NixOS screw up or the poor tooling. Maybe I just liked Zig way more. And I know that sometime along the way, I'll probably switch again. But for now, it's what I have and I'm happy with it. This is not my style of video, but I wanted to try out something new. Something more out of the box for the tech content. And if you like the style of the video, leave a comment below. Also leave a like and subscribe. And see you next time.